This is an interesting one to me because it goes with Hollywood, it goes with substance abuse, and it goes with a lot of other issues that come with when you mix business with all of these things together. And it says Bam Margera settles his Jackass 4 lawsuit. So we covered this a while back. Basically, he sued the people who are producing the movie Jackass Forever because he was originally supposed to be in the movie. And there was all of these restrictions laid upon him because he has such a long history of substance abuse and erratic behavior. And he had what was called a wellness contract that he had to adhere to, which certain parts of it made perfect sense to me. Other parts I took issue with, actually. One of it being that he was drug tested every day.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense to me. If somebody has it's still crazy to think of like a studio like mandating you to do that. Each and every day. Most people go to a job, they get a drug test once in the beginning, and then maybe if you work in law enforcement or something, you get intermittent drug tests because you're dealing with the general public. But this, it's purely a financial motive, right? They're keeping an eye on their investment. The issue I took with it was
they popped him for Adderall,
which he had a prescription for. I have my own opinions on this because a lot of times sobriety, it's
Did they think he was abusing Adderall?
I think I just think that they thought they just used it as a way to get rid of him. Realistically, if he had it prescribed from his doctor, and then the studio was not against him taking all drugs, because, and this is where I have a huge problem with it, is they made him take antidepressants. They said that as a requirement for him to be on the show. As far as I can understand in this thing is that
how is that any of their business? Like medical information.
Exactly. Well, basically the studio hired a doctor to examine him. I think they said they did it over a Zoom call because this was still pandemic times, and prescribed him. So it says, so we'll just get into it. But I'm saying I took huge issue with the idea that they could, I have no problem with them telling him that he can't have drugs in his body. If you're from the realm I am in sobriety, people have different schools of thought about whether you can take medications like Adderall. Given whatever your substance of choice was, you're still altering your mind very heavily each and every day. So some people are going to tell you that you need to go cold turkey off of everything. Other people will say that you're allowed to take stuff that, if it wasn't in your realm of abuse. I'm not here to judge him on that, but the fact of the matter is, legally, if he had his prescription, I don't see how they could have told him that he couldn't be on it, but it likely would have affected his behavior. Right? So it says, Bam Margera has finally brought his feud with his former Jackass co-star Johnny Knoxville to a close after settling his wrongful termination suit out of court. Basically, he dropped the suit. He gave up. So it says, one of the longest standing members of the Jackass crew, Margera, was fired from the set of their most recent film, Jackass Forever, which his former collaborators said was due to his behavior and mental health issues. However, the 42-year-old saw things differently and soon took Knoxville to court, but also Spike Jonze, Jeffrey Tremaine, as well as Paramount Pictures, MTV, Dickhouse Entertainment, and Guerrilla Flicks. So those are all the producers listed that got the film made. The crux of Margera's case was that he felt that he'd been forced to sign an agreement that what he considered to be psychological torture, with so many conditions included in it that it was impossible to comply, meaning you have to meet all of these requirements or you're fired. Do this every day or you're fired. Do this every day, you're fired. And they said that he had to pay out of pocket to do this.
Right.
So that's a problem. Right. Like if you're going to mandate all this and hold him to his contract, it feels like that should be on the studio to help him try to make, if they consider that their relationship is mutual, that it's mutually beneficial, they need him to make the movie and he needs them to stay on track, then they're they should be obligated to help him for as long as the contract is going through. He's not their responsibility afterwards, but in the coldest sense of it being a business arrangement, it feels like it would behoove them to help him out in as many ways as possible. And maybe taking some of that financial burden along in the process would have helped.
The crazy thing about Jackass is like 3 big brands came out of it. Johnny Knoxville, which is perhaps the biggest one.
Yeah.
Steve-O and Chris Pontius, the Wild Boys, and then Bam Margera.
Yep.
So, and the most mainstream one is probably can I just say his name? What was the first one?
Johnny Knoxville.
Knoxville.
No.
Like Knoxville's probably the most famous one, but Margera was huge.
I knew more about Margera
Me
than,
too.
than Knoxville just because,
I used to watch Viva La Bam, and like
I didn't watch any of it, but I knew who he
The-
was.
and the-
I
there's-
skated, but I didn't care about that stuff.
he was really associated to a
skate.
band too that was really funny. Bloodhound Gang, was it?
Was he the Bloodhound Gang? You and me, baby,
No.
ain't nothing. But I just watched that the other day. The video for. If you guys want to watch, okay, just an aside, go online and watch the music video for that song from the Bloodhound.
Yeah, that's from Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah. Watch the video and you will be like, wow, this could not be made. It's the whole. You'll thank me. You'll thank me. So it says, in the lawsuit itself, Margera has claimed that he was pressured into signing a wellness agreement while taking time in rehab back in 2019. This was supposedly a contract condition of his participation in the movie, and is something he claimed he was unable to run past a lawyer because he's in rehab. How does he have time to just consult a lawyer while all this is going on? So they kind of like cornered him, got him to do this. And by the way, none of what I'm saying here excuses bad behavior. And if he was erratic on set, there from a purely financial state, from a purely financial perspective, I'm like, I understand the studio's reasoning. This guy's volatile. We don't know what he's going to be like day to day. He has these issues that we know are detrimental to our cost benefit on getting this movie made. I'm not blaming them for what they did. I'm saying that I think that the agreement seems to be a little bit it would be very hard for somebody in chaos to be able to complete all this stuff. But then you have to ask him, maybe he should have just said, I shouldn't be, maybe I'm not in a place right now where I can do this.
I don't know. They had to put him in. Especially, I just saw the movie. I don't know if this is spoilers territory.
We're good. It's been out for a while.
Okay. But they have like a nice little like Ryan Dunn tribute.
Yeah.
Like the one that passed away, and that was his like boy, man.
Yeah.
Like they had to have him on, especially if they were gonna do a tribute to his best friend. Like that's messed up.
So it says Margera was asked to take regular drug tests and alcohol tests, as well as taking various drugs, which the star said left him depressed and drained. See, going off of the Adderall would have made him pretty lethargic and difficult to get up and go and be energetic. When you've been on it for a long period of time, it can be very hard to equate any amount of joy to your life, let alone what you need to really show on screen.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they just wanted him out.
Yeah,
like he was kind of a troublemaker.
So it says Margera didn't do this and soon enough tested positive for Adderall, resulted in being kicked off the production of the film. Margera stated in the suit that the Adderall had been prescribed to him by doctors for over a decade. So he has a claim there that, the reason they kicked him off was just whatever one they could find. But now he's going up against whatever money he has, and I don't know his net worth. I'm sure it's fairly large, but he doesn't have studio money, and he's not going to be able to take them on in court forever. So he went even further, likening his situation to that of the Britney Spears conservatorship, and called the defendants inhumane and discriminatory. At the end of the year, Steve-O had elaborated on what they call the so-called conservatorship was. In fact, it's not a conservatorship, it's a guardianship, he said. The conservatorship has financial implications. With a conservatorship, they're in charge of all of your money and everything. With the guardianship, they kind of leave your money out of it. In the guardianship, they're just like, these are the rules, you have to abide by these rules. And that's not out of the realm of what these studios can ask for. There's morals clauses in contracts for things, for how people behave offset. And that's what happens when you get into bed with a $1 billion studio. You're going to have rigid rules. And if you've proven yourself in the past to be unreliable, as much as I hate to say it, it's not hard to imagine this happening to him, which is, it's kind of sad, but he basically they're saying that he dropped the suit.
I mean, are any of these guys reliable? They're all kind of wild.
I bet you they are. I'm saying, it's the concerted effort of making like a bunch of grown men who have 6:30 a.m. call times look like crazy wild people. It's like rock music in the 80s looked crazy, like they were dangerous and badass because a studio made a video that made them look that way when they're really just businessmen that are entertainers. Have you ever seen the meme? It says like fans of Metallica. And it's got a guy who's dressed in like all black. He's got a leather jacket on. He's wearing black, skin tight black jeans. It says the members of Metallica, and it's like Lars like walking out of like a Gap, or like walking out of like a rodeo, not a Gap, like a rodeo drive like store. So he's like wearing like boardies and looking like a 60-year-old dude. That's like they portray an image. That's what they do. And I tied this in because we covered the Thandie Newton situation the other day about her being kicked off of Magic Mike. And we joked about
Very
how
bizarre.
she got kicked off, and the joke was that they said that it was because of her fighting with
But that's not a joke. That's literally what they said.
What happened?
The joke we were telling was like
That
it was ridiculous.
She got into some vicious argument with Channing Tatum
over the Will
about
Smith thing.
the Slapgate,
No way.
and then stormed out.
But
then he basically fired her.
Wow.
But then her agents later said that's not what happened. So it comes out and says Thandie Newton
Wow.
Thandie Newton reportedly heading to rehab after.
I'm so miffed. Like I don't even like. What would you disagree about? Like
I think
still
Chris
think
Rock
it was
is,
about Slapgate. Her agents are lying.
no, I believe you. I'm just like what. Like how? Where would be the conflict be?
Well, I'm saying this could have contributed to it. So it says Thandie Newton's reportedly heading to rehab facility after Magic Mike 3 exit, split from husband. Thandie Newton is reportedly experiencing a number of personal issues. So maybe if she's experiencing some type of substance abuse issue, she's fighting with her husband and they're getting divorced. Maybe all it does take to set you off is somebody saying that Will Smith did nothing wrong, and then all of a sudden you just start yelling at your producer. Your co-host / producer
Was
for
that
the
her
film.
argument?
I want to know whose side they were on.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
We don't know. I don't know if she was. We need to start like there's like Team Cap, Team Iron Man. We need like Team Smith, Team Rock.
I want to know who's pro a man getting assaulted.
I was like, I think a 10-year ban is ridiculous. I think it's too much.
It's a lot, yeah.
So Channing Tatum's Magic Mike 3, described by the actor as the Super Bowl of stripper movies, is currently in production. However, the long-awaited Tatum-led sequel, I mean, long-awaited is hyperbole, I think.
Nah, dude.
By some.
Yeah, okay.
It's got an audience.
Recently experienced a casting shakeup after Thandie Newton dropped out of the proceedings. The statement said that they was due to family reasons, while sources initially claimed that her exit was due to a dust-up with Tatum. Now it would be seen that after the aftermath of the situation and her split from her husband, Newton is reportedly heading to rehab. One of the funny things that they always do in situations like this is like if they don't want to admit like drug problems because we can't confirm, they're in there for exhaustion or depression, when usually it's depression caused by substance abuse. So we can't confirm that, but that, if they're going to a treatment facility, it's very likely that it has something to do along those lines.
I think you can get admitted if you don't have a substance abuse problem.
You could go for
Could you?
depression. I don't know.
Really?
I don't remember if they allowed that.
That would just be a mental health
Yeah, that would be like
facility of some sort.
Those posh celebrity ones are probably
Yeah.
different. So it says, it's been alleged that I don't know if there was anybody, when I was in rehab, I don't know if there was anybody in there that was in there for depression. I think everyone
Yeah.
was in there for something, a substance that made them depressed. But I don't know if they were in there for depression on its own. It's been alleged that during her time on the set of Magic Mike, the Last Dance, Magic Mike's Last Dance, I can't even say that without laughing, Thandie Newton was exhibiting unusual behavior. According to see, that screams drugs to me, not depression. After crew members expressed concern for her, Newton's agent arrived on the London-based set to ease the situation. However, the star eventually departed the project and made her way back to the U.S. It says Thandie, and this is from her agent. It says sources say that her star's separation from her husband of 24 years. That's a long time. And other personal issues apparently affected her work on the upcoming film. Thandie has been acting strange on set. She's been very highly strung. Her apparent breakdown caused so much disruption. It became clear she couldn't play the role. There's a lot going on in her personal life. She and her husband have separated. She seemed stressed. She even brought her 2 pet rabbits to her hotel room for emotional support. So all I'm trying to draw a comparison here is that when somebody is in chaos, whether it be from drugs, personal issues, whatever that may be, for a project like a film, which costs hundreds of millions of dollars, or even if it's not hundreds, millions of dollars to make, these studios are put in the unfortunate position of playing look, we can't afford to have this type of instability here. We're sorry. And they didn't even kick her off the set. They said that she removed herself, right? It is very difficult
It might have been both.
It could have been.
I think that Tatum probably kicked her off. He's in charge of it after all.
But why would she want him to, like, I guess then who saves face by her saying that she removed herself from the set? I guess her, but so he did it. He kicked her off, but she's good with letting him, with letting her save face. I don't know.
I mean, getting kicked off a set would kind of mean like, oh, she's hard to work with. So probably I removed myself is somewhat better.
Thandy's team wants her to go to a rehab for mental health support. She was supposed to leave immediately for a facility. They tried for a Malibu rehab, but they couldn't take her. Arrangements are now being made to go to a facility in Arizona if she agrees to go. So all my point was that is that when somebody is struggling, when somebody's really going through a tough time, be it from chemical abuse, from substance abuse, be it from issues in your personal life. So I'm just saying that when your franchises cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make, or even just dozens of millions of dollars to make, these studios cannot afford to let that go. It's a sad fact of the industry. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.